Hi, my name's Erin. This is my third year at ISD, and I'm a fourth grade teacher.
Hello, my name is Catherine Chakukuma. I go by Cathy. I'm originally from Malawi in California. I'm a pre-K teacher here at ISD, and this will be my fourth year in Dakar.
So I think just like any big city, you need to be a little bit mindful about where you are and when. For example, like you wouldn't want to be running along the road where our school is, the Corniche, at night when it's dark by yourself. A lot of things that happen in Dakar are really like opportunistic things. So if you happen to be running and you had your iPhone, you probably wouldn't be super safe. But you know, if you're just really mindful, like you would be in any big city, you are definitely safe. You might get a little bit more attention than you would, you know, if you like if you have blonde hair, maybe you're not as typical here as you would be other places, and so people will try and chat with you, and you know, maybe like they might even want your phone number, things like that, but not in a menacing way, more just like in a curious, oh, I'm gonna give this a try way. So I don't feel unsafe going out by myself. I'm just really mindful about where I am and when, really aware of my surroundings. I have a dog, and so I'm often out at night walking my dog. One of the first things that I did when I was in my neighborhood when I first arrived was I began to get to know all the guards that worked in my neighborhood, not only just the guards in our housing, but you'll notice there are regular guards at many of the homes in town, and this is just kind of like a typical thing here. So I would say hello to them, and you know, greeting is a big thing in Senegalese culture, and so, you know, just quickly checking in and, you know, being friendly, but not too friendly, because you also don't want to give the assumption that, you know, you're interested in more. But now I know that when I'm walking my dog at night that I'm really safe, because I do know those people in my neighborhood, and I check in with them regularly. And so I know that if something were to happen and I was in need, in any number of ways, you know, maybe there'd be a street dog that was approaching my dog and I needed help, or, you know, somebody who wasn't typical to the neighborhood. I know that all of those people are looking out for me. So just really being aware of your surroundings, but also connecting with the people in your community is super important.
So I have a very outgoing personality. And so in the beginning, when I first moved here, I didn't know anybody, you know, apart from my colleagues. So I used to go out with my colleagues a lot, but then I decided, you know, to slowly start venturing out. So I would go to like restaurants by myself, to lounges by myself, but I always had the same driver. So the good thing about working at ISD is there's a lot of taxi drivers that you get to know, you know, the longer you stay here. So I have one driver who drives me around, you know, from school, from, you know, home. So it's safer that way, since I usually go out by myself. And so that's how I was able to make a lot of friends. So I can honestly say I've made a lot of friends from all over the world. And so sometimes I still do go out by myself, but I always make sure I meet, you know, friends wherever I'm going.
Yeah, there's a lot to do in Dakar, especially if you're interested in outdoor activities. Lots of people surf. If you don't surf, there's a place where you can learn. There's a surf school here. One of my very favorite activities to do to relax on the weekend is to go to any number of the hotel pools. You pay a certain amount, you can just lounge by the pool all afternoon. At school, we have tons of activities. We have a circuit training workout class where we have a trainer that comes. There's a book club on some weekends. What else can you do? There's like so many different activities that you can be involved with people from school, but there's also a lot outside of school. It's called the Hotel du Phare. It's a hotel that like once a week, it has a movie night on their rooftop. There are clubs you can go to go dancing. There's lots of live music. And as well, you can also really easily leave the city for a weekend and go down to Sali, Somon, Popenguine, which are all down on the Petite Côte just south of Dakar, and it's pretty easy to get there. People are always up for getting an Airbnb or going to a hotel and just kind of getting out of the busy city for the weekend. So there's really plenty to do. and lots of, like I said, lots of sports and things. We also have a softball, an intramural softball league that we're involved in. There's like the embassies and things, and the faculty has a team, and that's super fun. So if you like to play softball, that's a really good thing to do as well.
So I love working out, so that's something I do, I would say, at least 3-4 times a week. There's really good gyms in Dakar. There's one in Almaty. It's very, very spacious, and there's one close to my house. But the also good thing about working at ISD is that we have our own gym, which makes it easier. Like once I leave the classroom, I don't have to go home, because it's harder to get out of the house. Once you get home, you don't want to leave the house. So I love that I can work out here, with other people, like some of my colleagues. So it helps. So I would say working out in the week and hanging out with my friends. I spend so much time with my friends. Going to restaurants, sightseeing. Sometimes we go to Sally. Sally is like an hour and a half, 2 hours by driving away from Dakar. And it's like some nice restaurants, beach, and that kind of stuff. So that's usually what I do in Dakar.
As a single female, there are lots of other single females at our school, and we tend to plan those kinds of things together. Since we don't have a partner or a family necessarily to kind of like have this like built-in group to travel with, it's really nice for us to kind of be able to do those weekends away, but also traveling during bigger vacations. Like I've traveled during several vacations with colleagues here from school. We've gone to Morocco on October break. We went to Cape Verde in March one year. There's also a group trip that one of our TAs organizes to the Casamance, which I went on with a group here from school. So there's plenty of travel opportunities, both within Senegal, like on a weekend, or further away for like longer breaks that you can do with people from school. But it's also really easy. There are plenty of places that you can travel by yourself. I went to Europe a couple times by myself. It's super easy to get to Portugal from here. It's a direct flight, not super expensive. So that's always a really nice trip to go on your own. Lisbon's a really fun city, and it's very inexpensive once you get there. So there are really quite a few travel opportunities, either on your own or with someone else.
So going away for weekends, I usually go with friends, but traveling, like flying out of Dakar, I love to travel alone. I love to explore new places. I've gone to Europe a few times because it's just easy access between Dakar and Europe. The flights are not that long. They're usually direct flights, like from here to Paris, 4 or 5 hours, or to Spain or to Portugal. So I usually travel alone, or sometimes I've gone to Côte d'Ivoire, which is like a 2-hour flight. So I usually just travel alone, but it's mostly closer to Senegal.
Dating in Dakar is interesting. The pool is definitely a little bit limited, but there are dating opportunities. I personally am not dating right now because I have a significant other abroad, but when I was, there are dating apps, like there is Tinder here in Dakar, and it's definitely a possibility. There are lots of both expats and locals on these dating apps. You can go out and about to, whether it's bars or, like I said, the different clubs that you can go dancing in, and you can definitely meet people, or you can meet people through friends or any of these number of activities. If you're involved in sports, that's a good way to meet people. So it's not the easiest, but it's definitely something that is possible.
It's a little tricky. The culture is very different. So I think that factors in. I mean, for me, I grew up in America, so dating life in America compared to here is different. It's different cultural expectations. So that's been a little harder for me to wrap my head around like certain expectations in dating in regards to women. Because the Senegalese culture is very, very, very much involved when it comes to dating. It's different. Some of my friends have Tinder, and I've heard good stories, dating stories. So I guess it is what you make it. If you're adventurous, I would say join Tinder and see. what you can find. So, yeah.
Like I said, we travel a lot together as single females here. We tend to school tends to group the single females, at least a few of them in the same buildings or buildings near each other. So oftentimes you'll be close to somebody that is also a single female. So you'll be able to go do things together, whether it's run errands on the weekend or go out together, or just check in on things you want to check in with neighbors on. It's always nice to have somebody that you can just touch base with that lives nearby, either in your building or in your neighborhood.
I really love my apartment. I just recently moved to a new apartment. I'm on the 4th floor. One of the favorite things I love about it is the safety. So pretty much I have bars in all my doors and windows, so I feel really safe because I do live alone. It's very, very spacious. My house is a 4-bedroom apartment, and I just like how spacious it is and good lighting. It's a really nice neighborhood. It's safe. We have at least, I think I would say 4 or 5 guards every night, and when I go out, they're always waiting for me, at the gate, or if the taxi driver comes to pick me up, they're always waiting outside for me to get out of the apartment. So I feel really, really safe.
So one of the things that I think is important for me, I'm a fluent French speaker, and so that's been really, really helpful. I'm not saying you need to speak French to come here, but it will be helpful if you know a few words in French before you arrive.
Just be adventurous. I mean, be safe, but be adventurous. I have loved I'm still loving my stay here. When I moved here, I had no idea, I knew where Senegal was, but I had never been here before. I just, took a leap of faith and I came, and it's been one of the best decisions of my life, honestly. I love living here. And I think making a lot of friends really, really does help with how you experience a place. And so I'm loving it.